like a verse or a phrase that we recite when we are meditating. So when we are reciting that phrase or verse, we have to focus on the meaning. So for us to focus on the meaning, we need to understand the meaning in depth. We don't go into detail meaning when you're doing the karmasthana. We focus on like the summary of it, the gist of it. But for us to focus on the gist, we need to know the meaning, the real meaning, with examples and details. So that's what I'm going to do. The name of the karmasthana is Penapinduwa Asarai, Rupe Asarai, Diya Babula Asarai, Vedana Asarai, Sanya Asarai, Miringu Asarai, Sanya Asarai, Keselkanda Asarai, Sankara Asarai, Maya Asarai, Vijnana Asarai. Let me recite the karmasthana. So it's a different way of seeing the world, but it's the same thing basically. So that's what I wanted to clarify first. So it's like someone who has seen an elephant describing about an elephant to a person who has not seen an elephant. So someone says, okay, I haven't seen, so that person who hasn't seen an elephant is asking a person who has seen an elephant, how does an elephant look like? So this guy has seen an elephant, so he says, oh, elephant is a huge black animal. And then he goes to another person and asks, okay, I haven't seen an elephant, can you describe about an elephant? And the second one explains in terms of the tusk. Okay, an elephant is an animal with a tusk. And he goes to the third person, and the third person describes about the elephant in terms of the huge legs, like coconut trunks or something like that. So the idea is they all have seen the elephant, and if a person who has seen an elephant listens to this, that person will know, okay, this person has seen an elephant. But a person who hasn't seen an elephant will get confused because that person doesn't know, and that person is getting different answers. So the same thing happened, and monks who were describing about becoming a Sotapanna, or what you comprehend by becoming a Sotapanna, was different answers, because they comprehended the Dhamma in different aspects, so they saw it in different ways. So one monk goes to Tathagata Vahanse and asks, okay, can you explain what this is, because I'm getting different answers from different monks, so I'm a bit confused, can you explain what this is? Then Lord Buddha explains this by using a tree as an example. It is a specific tree called the Kayalagasa. So when someone has seen the Kayalagasa, that person, the person who has seen the Kayalagasa, the Kayala tree, knows how the leaves look like, how the trunk looks like, so how the tree looks like. So when someone explains about the tree, a person who knows, but a person who doesn't know wouldn't know. So that's how it is. So the idea is to understand or comprehend the Dhamma in any one way. It doesn't matter what way you understand, as long as you understand that at the end of the day, the world itself, the inner world or the outer world, everything is worthless or a useless process. And at the same time, I'm going to explain about another karmasthana. That karmasthana is Rupa Nirodhai Nivan Suvadanenava Vedana nirodai nivan suva danenawa. Sanya nirodai nivan suva danenawa. Sankara nirodai nivan suva danenawa. Vijnana nirodai nivan suva danenawa. Lokaya nirodai nivan suva danenawa. So this is the idea. So when you understand about the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, I will explain them separately. But once you get to the understanding, you understand not to roam around. So that's what Rodha means. Nirodha means not to roam around. Rodha means to roam around. So that's what we do. We roam around looking for gratification, looking for asada, looking for to fulfill our eyes, ears, nose, tongue and the body, and we think that we can do that. But once you understand, we stop the roaming, and this is when you can get to the dhyana. So when you know this, you will know not to roam around. So when I say roam around, you need to understand there are vipaka, like I explained in the previous week. We shouldn't worry about the vipaka. So whatever happens, it could be a sapa vipaka, it could be a dukkha vipaka. So it could be a good one, it could be a bad one, it could be a happy one, it could be a sad one. So if something comes to you, so say for example you see a nice picture, that's a result of a good thing that you have done before. So that is fine. Seeing something nice is okay. But if you roam around, if you keep looking and seeing are two different things. So this is what the difference is. So seeing something nice is fine. But if you go looking for something nice, then that's when you do the abhisankara. That's when you are roaming around. You see a nice girl, that's fine. That's a vipaka. But now your mind says, oh, look at that girl again. So you want to look at that girl again to keep enjoying, or to try to fulfill the gratification. So that when that happens, if you keep looking, then that's the roaming around bit. So when you sit down to do the meditation, what you need to stop is the roaming around. So the mind will start to roam around. So when you hear something, you won't see something because your eyes are closed, but there might be pictures coming as if you visualize something, that might sometimes visualizations come into your mind. So if that happens, what you shouldn't do is start thinking about it and go on about it. Just let it go. As it comes, let it pass. So if you hear a noise, that's fine. It could be someone crying, but if you focus on the crying, and then if you think, oh, why does that baby have to cry now? Or if you get angry because of that, then that's when you're roaming around. That's when you're doing the abhisankara. So that is what needs to be stopped. So you need to focus on that and let it go. So that's, you heard a noise. Okay, hearing a noise is fine. So that's a vipaka. That doesn't create a raga, dvesha or moha. So using that, if you start creating a raga or dvesha or moha, that is when the problem arises. So this is what you need to avoid. Same way, if you smell something, it could be a good smell, it could be a bad smell. If you smell a nice perfume, if you start thinking about the perfume, or if you get memories about that perfume, if you start going to a different period, then that's abhisankara. And mainly you don't get the touch or the taste when you're doing meditation, so that's fine. But especially the noises are the ones that will disturb you when you're meditating. So you need to focus on the Nibbhana. So how you focus is when you start to take things from outside and try to enjoy, you think that the happiness is in the objects outside, and you're trying to take happiness from outside. Say for example, you hear something, you think, okay, you can get happiness from that noise or that sound. Or you see something, you see a nice picture. The nice is something that you created in your mind. So you are the one who's thinking it's a nice one. If it's a nice picture, it has to be nice to everyone who sees it. But it's not the case. It's like a nice movie. You might like it, some people might not like it. So if the movie had if the movie had the happiness in it, then everyone would have enjoyed looking at it. But not everyone does enjoy looking at the same movie. So some people like action movies, some people like romance, some people like documentaries. So that like is something that you created in your mind. So that's where the problem is. So this is something you created and you're looking for from outside. So you need to understand that. Once you understand that, you don't start roaming around, you stop roaming around, but you need to keep the focus. Otherwise, because your mind is used to roaming around looking for things to enjoy, so it does what it's used to. So for you to change, you need to make it a habit to stop roaming around. Then you get used to not roaming around. So this is what you need to practice, and then eventually you get to the state where when you're not roaming around, then you're enjoying the real happiness, because this is where the real happiness is. It comes from inside. You start feeling the dhyana swaya. So the real happiness comes from inside. But for that you need to focus on the Nibbhana, not the outside world. So this is what's important. So let's practice this. Let's see if we can do this. Pena piduwa asarai, rupaya asarai, diya bubula asarai, vedana asarai, miringuwa asarai, sanya asarai, kesel khanda asarai, sankhara asarai, maya asarai, viññāna asarai. Here the most important thing is they are talking about Penapindua, Diyabubula, Miringua, Kesel Khanda and Maya as being asarai. So the main word here is asarai, not the Penapindua, Diyabubula or Miringua or Kesel Khanda or Maya. That is one thing you need to understand, and these have been used as metaphors. For Penapindua has been used as a metaphor for Rupaya, Diyabubula for Vedana, Miringua for Sanya, Kesel Khanda for Sankhara, and Mayava for Viññāna. And again, the important thing is asarai. It says asarai. So before going into one by one asarai, let's find out what asarai means. Asarai, the nirukta is sara, is its worth, or it's valuable, it's useful. So asara is the opposite of worth or valuable or
useful, which is worthless, valueless, and useless. So these are all worthless and valueless and useless. That is what you need to understand. So how does it become useless? So if you look at a penapindua, what is a penapindua? A penapindua is a form that is being created by the dirty water, for example. Right? There is no value in that. This is what you need to understand. It is being created, and when you look at the form, what happens in itself is it accumulates together and it makes it look like there is something there. But actually what happens is it keeps producing more and more form in different shapes, and then a person looking at the form gets the idea that, oh, there is something there, but that's not true. It is just being created, right? So this is the idea that you get by looking at it. If it's a rupa, right? If you look at it as a rupa, or it is the same with shabda rupa. If you are listening to something, what you do is you accumulate it together, right? And then you get the shabda rupa, or rasa rupa, or gandha rupa, or pottabha rupa. So it is like a penapindua, it is like form, and it is useless, it is worthless, and it's valueless. That is what you need to understand. Then if you move on to diya bubula. What is a diya bubula? It's a water bubble. Diya bubula asara. There is no value in the water bubble. Again, as there is no value in the Vedana. Why is there no value? The water bubble pops anytime, instantly. It doesn't take a second. You don't know when it's going to pop. It's the same with Vedana. If you need some kind of Vedana, you need to keep creating the Vedana. Passa pachya Vedana. Where there is passa, there is Vedana. There is no passa, there is no Vedana. So the more Vedana you need, the more sparsha you need to create. So that is why it's asara. That's why it's worthless, valueless, and useless. Miringo asara is sanya asara. What is a miringo? Miringo is a mirage. You look at a mirage and get an idea. Oh, there is water. Actually, there isn't water, but you get an idea. Oh, there is water. So let's go towards it. So it's similar to that. So that is why it's a metaphor, right? The sanya is the perception. You get a perception which is a wrong perception, a wrong view. So that is why you need to understand the uselessness of this sanya that you get. There are sanya vipallasa, the wrong views. That's why you need to work on the dasa sanya. Anichcha sanya, Anaththa sanya, Asubha sanya, Adinav sanya, Sabbaloke Anabhirata sanya, Anapanasathi. Like that. Those are the dasa sanya that you need to focus on and work on. The normal sanya that you get is worthless. So that is what you need to understand. Moving on to Kesel Kana. What is a Kesel Kana? It is a banana tree. So you are looking for a trunk in a banana tree. Will you get it? No, you won't ever get a good trunk from a banana tree. So it is a useless process. Again, this is a metaphor. Don't take it as, oh, don't focus on the kesel kanda or the banana tree. It is nothing to do with that. You need to focus on the uselessness or the valuelessness or the worthlessness when it comes to the karmasthana. It's similar to the sankhara. It could be kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. No matter what sankhara it is, no matter how much you put effort into it, end of the day, it's worthless. It's a worthless process. That is what you need to understand. Moving on to Maya. What is a Maya? Maya is a magician. Right? So Maya asarai, Vijnana asarai. Vijnana is a defiled consciousness. Right? So no matter how much you see it, the magic, how much you see it and you think, oh my God, this is amazing. Is that real? Actually, it's not real. You might see someone being cut through the middle of the body, cut into pieces, but that's not real. You see it as if that's the truth, but that's not the truth. So it is similar to that. That's why it's a metaphor. So again, like Maya, like the magician, whatever the defiled consciousness that you get, give you a wrong understanding, wrong view. So you need to be careful. You need to make sure you see correctly through Anicca, Dukkha, Anaththa. And whatever comes as a consciousness is valueless, useless, and worthless. This is what you need to understand. So when one understands all these as asara, that person understands that the world is asara, or the world is worthless, the world is valueless or useless. So being in this world itself is useless. So that is when that person turns around 180 degrees and then walks towards Nibbhana. No, it's no point in walking through this world. There is nothing valuable, nothing worth doing in here. So I need to attain Nibbhana or attain enlightenment. So that is when you turn around and walk the path. So you need to understand this. How you understand is by applying Anicca, Dukkha, Anaththa. So this is what this karmasthana means. When one understands this karmasthana, that person stops the process of abhisankhara. So Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana are the panchaskandhaya. So panchaskandhaya is not the problem. Pancha upadanaskandhaya is the problem. Panchaskandhaya, even Arihatun Vahanse has the panchaskandhaya. Right? The five aggregates. So the pancha upadanaskandhaya, which you create by getting attached with Chandaraga or with Trishna, is what you need to get rid of. So Rupa upadane, Vedana upadane, Sanya upadane, Sankhara upadanaskandhe, Vijnana upadanaskandhe are the problems. So this is what you need to understand. Then when one understands this, that person stops the process of abhisankara or roaming around looking for asada. So this is what happened. You try to look for asada in this when you don't understand. But once you understand the concepts, once you understand the reality, you turn around and stop the process, or at least try to stop the process, because you understand it's a useless or a valueless or a worthless process, right? And then the roaming around stops. Nirodha, that is what Nirodha means, Rodha. Rodha is roaming. So where there is no rodha, where there is no roaming around, that means nirodha. So then you can come to the karmasthana. Rupa nirodhai nivan suwa danenawa. In order for you to feel Nibbhana, you need to stop the roaming around after Rupa, after Vedana, after Sanya, after Sankara, after Vijnana. So when one understands this and stops, then that person gets to the feel. Rupa nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Vedana nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Sanya nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Sankara nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Vijnana nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Lokaya nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. So that is what happened. Loka nirodhai. So you are not going looking for asada, running around. You're not roaming around. So not roaming around is nirodha. When you hear a noise, you're not going to run around. What is that noise? Looking for what it is. When you see something, you're not going to create abhisankara. Seeing something is vipaka. There is no problem in vipaka. But abhisankara is the problem. So this is what you need to understand. So now two karmasthana has been explained. The first one is the Pinapindu asarai, rupe asarai. And then after you understand the asara, or the worthlessness, or the valueless, or the uselessness, then you come to the understanding, okay, now I'm not going to roam around, which then you come to the rupa nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Again, I will explain another karmasthana at the same time, which has a link to these two, which is asadeng shunyavu rupa nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. So asadeng shunyavu. So that means there is no gratification in the rupa. Therefore I am not going to roam around the rupa. There is no asada in Vedana. Therefore I am not going to roam around Vedana. There is no asada or gratification in perceptions. So I am not going to roam around Sanya. There is no gratification in Sankara. Therefore I am not going to roam around Sankara. There is no asada or gratification in Vijnana. Therefore I am not going to roam around Vijnana. So that is the next karmasthana, which is asaden shunyavu rupa nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Asaden shunyavu vedana nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Asaden shunyavu sanya nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Asaden shunyavu sankara nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Asaden shunyavu vijnana nirodhai nivan suva danenawa. Asaden shunyavu Loka nirodai nivan suva danenawa. So these are the three karmasthana which is linked together. The first one, I'm sure you understood, Pena Pinduva Sarai, Rupya Sarai. The most important thing you need to understand is that these are metaphors. Don't go into detail about Pena Pinduva or Diya Bubula or Miringu or Kesel Kanda or Maya. What you need to understand is the fact that these are worthless processes. Right? And then when you understand that the world or the Abhisankara process itself is worthless, then you stop the Abhisankara process. Then you can say Nirodai. Right? And because when you stop the roaming around, the process of Abhisankara, that is when you feel the tranquility. So that is when you can say Nivan